Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're diving into the story behind one of the world's most iconic brands. And trust me, the story doesn't start in some fancy boardroom. Nope, it begins in a small workshop with a brilliant but seriously struggling engineer.
So how do you actually go about inventing the future? Well, for Karl Benz, it wasn't just about having one amazing idea. It was this whole journey filled with hardship, an incredible partnership, and just pure daring conviction.
And this is that story. It's the story of how the horseless carriage, an idea that, let's be honest, most people just laughed at, became the automobile that completely changed the world.
All right, so let's start at the beginning. Our story kicks off with Karl Benz. He was born into poverty way back in 1844. His father, a locomotive driver, died when Karl was only 2 years old.
So even with this really difficult childhood, Benz's mother made sure he got an education, and it paid off. At university, one of his professors had this lesson that just clicked for him. Steam engines were on their way out. And that little spark inspired Benz to chase this radical vision of a small, personal vehicle that wasn't powered by steam.
So after Benz graduated, his first attempt at a business back in 1871, well, it was a total disaster. And it was all thanks to an unreliable partner who pretty much bankrupted the entire workshop.
And this right here, this is the turning point. His first partner, August Ritter, a complete failure. But his fiancée, Bertha Ringer, she saw his potential. In what was an incredibly bold and frankly unconventional move for the time, she used her own dowry, money from her family for her marriage, to buy out that failing partner and save the entire company. She bet her future on his dream.
So now, with Bertha's backing and a much more stable business, Karl was finally free to focus on what he was truly passionate about, and he started developing a whole series of crucial inventions.
Now, what's so fascinating here is that Benz, who started out just tinkering with bicycles, didn't just invent one single thing. No, he solved a whole chain of really complex mechanical problems. He patented all the core parts that would make the first car even possible, from the engine all the way to the spark plug.
And the result of all that work was this: the Benz patent motor wagon. Now, this wasn't just a cart with a motor slapped on it. It was a completely integrated vehicle. Instead of putting an engine on a carriage, Benz built the carriage around the motor. It was a truly revolutionary idea.
But the public was not impressed, not at all. They were skeptical, even afraid of it. His own business partners were complaining that it wasn't any faster than a horse and was way too unreliable. The vision was there, but the rest of the world just couldn't see it yet.
So the invention itself was an engineering masterpiece, but nobody got it. The world needed some kind of proof that this noisy, weird-looking machine was actually the future. And that proof? It was going to come from a very unexpected source.
And that's where Bertha comes in again. One morning, without telling Karl, or the authorities for that matter, Bertha and her 2 sons just took off on a secret journey, a journey that would make history. She was determined to prove once and for all how important her husband's invention really was.
You have to imagine this. This was not a leisurely drive. It was a grueling 12-hour adventure on roads that were really just meant for horses. She had to invent solutions right there on the spot, like using a hat pin to unclog a fuel line and her own garter to insulate a wire. This trip proved not just that the car could last, but that it was actually practical.
And here's the crucial part. This one single act of what we'd probably call guerrilla marketing today did what years of engineering couldn't. It captured the public's imagination. Suddenly, the motor wagon was the talk of the town, and believe it or not, the orders finally started rolling in.
Okay, so Bertha's trip saved the company's immediate future. But with success came a whole new challenge. And this one was very different. Fierce competition from another brilliant German engineer.
So on one side, you had Benz, who was terrified of high speeds and was all about reliability. And on the other, you had Gottlieb Daimler, a guy who was absolutely obsessed with speed and racing. This intense rivalry, it pushed car technology forward at a crazy, incredible pace.
And Daimler's company got a huge leg up with his car called the Mercedes. It was so advanced and so successful in races that it actually forced Benz company to get into the high-speed racing world, something they really didn't want to do just to keep up.
And boy, did they keep up. By 1911, their race car, the Blitz and Benz, hit over 140 miles per hour. That broke the absolute speed record for any vehicle on Earth. We're talking planes, trains, anything.
But you know, the biggest force of all wasn't even competition. It was economics. After World War I, Germany's economy was in absolute ruins. And these two bitter rivals, well, they had to join forces just to stay afloat.
So in 1926, Daimler-Benz was born, and that created the brand we all know today. Karl Benz actually served on the board, and he lived long enough to see his tiny workshop become this global automotive giant. He passed away just a few years later in 1929.
So when you look back at it, the story of Karl and Bertha Benz shows that it's almost never just one thing, is it? Innovation isn't just a single moment of genius. It's this powerful and often really messy combination of vision, belief, and fierce competition. Thanks for joining this explainer.